Another day is here, and you're ready for it. What to wear? Check. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Check. Planning for what's next and how to save for it? That's where Bank of America can help. For your financial to-dos, Bank of America has experts ready to help get you closer to your goals. Get started at one of our local financial centers or 24/7 in our mobile banking app. Find a location near you at bankofamerica.com/talktous. What would you like the power to do? Mobile banking requires downloading the app and is only available for select devices. Message and data rates may apply. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
The Two-Footed Podcast is brought to you by EPLindex.com and our presenting sponsor, Liberty Shield. Liberty Shield is a VPN provider. A virtual privacy network allows you to go online, change your location, access things you're geo-blocked from, while keeping your data safe. So, as an example, if you are a UK expat and want access to BBC iPlayer to watch Match of the Day, or ITV Hub, or all four, will you get that message that says this content is not available in your location? A Liberty Shield VPN gets you around that block, allows you to watch whatever you want on those services, while also keeping your data safe. And it goes further than that. It allows you to open up Netflix's entire library by just changing your IP address. Liberty Shield is the #1 rated VPN provider on Trustpilot with 5-star ratings across the board. So go to libertyshield.com right now, use the code EPL25 and get either the hardware package or the software package. The hardware package is a router that you plug into your existing router, and any item you want to change the IP address on, be it your phone or your television, you connect that to the new Liberty Shield router. All other items can remain connected to your existing router. There's also a software package, which is instantly downloadable to your device, and you can get using straight away. Again, libertyshield.com, EPL25 for 25% off at checkout. We're also brought to you by Home of Hopcroft, a giftware and homeware company located in Scotland but shipping worldwide. Check out homeofhopcroft.co.uk and do check out the EPL Index and Anfield Index shops, which you'll find on Etsy. Use the codes EPL10 or RED10 for 10% off at checkout. And lastly, do remember to check out A Tad Predictable, hosted by Tadiwa. That podcast is on this feed before every Premier League match week. And then the EPL Roundtable, hosted by Kevin DeVries, on its own EPL Roundtable feed. So just search EPL Roundtable in your podcast device. And that's out after every match week. Now, on with the show. What's good, boys and girls? Two-Footed Podcast. Today is Wednesday. It is the 31st of July. Hope you're all well and having yourselves a pleasant day. The weather here is what can only be described as fierce close. In other parts of the world, that might be called muggy or high humidity. But here, it's known as fierce close. And it's not great now, to be honest. Not very enjoyable to be outside. However, it's nice to be inside. A little bit of air conditioning on. Delightful stuff altogether. Guy Drinkle gave me this as an idea, so I thought I'd do it today because there's not much going on. Actually, before I get to what Guy gave me, let's catch up on the Olympics, where the last round of group games took place yesterday in the men's tournament. France 3, New Zealand 0, Mateta, Doué and Kalamunda with the goals. France cruised through top of the group with 9 points. USA beat Guinea by 3-0. Jorge Mihailovic opened the scoring, and then 2 from Kevin Paredes gave the US a very comfortable win and send them through in second place. So impressed by how they bounced back after being heavily beaten by the French. In Group B, Argentina beat Ukraine by 2-0. Thiago Almada scored just after half-time, and Claudio Echeverri scored in stoppage time at the end of the match to give Argentina a win and send them through in second place behind Morocco, who beat Iraq by 3-0. Michael Richardson, Rahimi and Ez with the goal. Ez Al-Zouli with the goals there. So Morocco topped the group. And I think given the fact that they did beat Argentina in the first game, that is warranted. In Group C, Dominican Republic won, Uzbekistan won. Nunez from the penalty spot on 51 minutes. Odilov on 58, giving us a draw in that one. And then in the final game, we got an upset as Egypt beat Spain by 2-1. Ibrahim Adel scoring on 40 and 62. Amaro Dion of Atletico Madrid pulling one back in the last minute, but Spain couldn't find an equaliser. So Egypt top Group C and Spain finish as the group runners-up. And finally then, in Group D, Japan beat Israel by 1-0. Asoya with the only goal in stoppage time. And Marcelo Fernandez scoring the only goal as Paraguay beat Mali and bounced back from losing 5-0 in the opening game to qualify as runners-up. So our bracket is set for the quarterfinals. It is France versus Argentina, Egypt versus Paraguay. The winners of those games will meet in the semi-final. I think you would have to make France favourites to beat Argentina, and I think I would pick Egypt over Paraguay. That would then give me France versus Egypt, and I think France get to the final. In the bottom half of the draw then, Morocco versus the USA and Japan versus Spain, which promises to be very good. I think I would go Morocco and Spain to reach the semi-finals. In that semi-final, I think I would pick Spain over Morocco, which would give me a gold medal match of France versus Spain and a bronze medal match of Egypt versus Japan. I think I would pick France to win gold, which would give Spain silver, and I think Japan win bronze. I think Japan win bronze. So that is my prediction for the remainder of this competition. On the women's side, we currently have games ongoing. There are the last round of games being played today. They are New Zealand versus France, Colombia versus Canada. Those games are tonight. Australia versus the USA and Zambia versus Germany. Those games are later this evening or this afternoon. Playing right now, Brazil versus Spain, Japan versus Nigeria. And Japan are beating Nigeria by 3-1. Brazil versus Spain, currently a draw. Japan going well on both sides, and Brazil potentially ending up in the third place spot. Now, they should still qualify for the knockout phase as one of the third place teams, but maybe not as dominant as they thought they might be in this competition. I think great credit goes to Japan. If they hold out for that win, they're having beaten Brazil in their last game, going well on the men's and women's side of the bracket, and we'll see how they do. Maybe there's an opportunity for them to bring home medals on the men's side and the women's side. Obviously an opportunity for Spain, who are probably the favourites, to do so as well. The USA could still do so, and obviously there is the strong possibility that France could do so, though they haven't looked as good as I thought they might. Huge game tonight is Colombia versus Canada. Canada obviously have won both games, but were deducted 6 points because of the drone spying, and a failure to win tonight would almost certainly see them, actually, it would see them eliminated if they don't win tonight. Even if they do win, it's going to be a little bit touch and go for them, but their goal difference should be enough to get them across the line. They were not docked their goals. They were not given 2-3-0 defeats. Their goal difference is still +2. If we look at Group B, where Australia are currently sitting in third place, their goal difference is -2. So a Canadian win and an Australian loss would mean Canada go through. But if Australia get a draw against the USA, which could happen because the USA have already qualified, and let's just say Brazil-Spain ends in a draw, then there's nothing the Canadians can do to get a third place spot. They would need to hope that they can jump Colombia, which actually, to be fair, they would. Wouldn't they? If they beat Colombia, they would jump Colombia on goal difference and get in as one of the two qualifiers. Unless... No, it would be, yeah. I'm an idiot. If Canada win, they're going to go through. If Canada win, they're going to go through. But Colombia are going to be tough. Anyway, moving on. Right, Guy Drinkle's idea. Guy's idea was to take a look at all the business Premier League teams have done and maybe try and start to piece together what their starting 11s will be this season. So we'll do this for all 20 teams. And obviously this is going to change massively. We still have a month left in the transfer window. But we'll try and piece together what the teams might look like right now. We'll start with Arsenal. So they've signed Calafiori. That's the only move they've made thus far. They've obviously got a deal close to being sealed to sell Emile Smith-Rowe. But Calafiori is the only addition to the squad. Obviously, the David Raya deal was a loan with an obligation to buy, which has been finalised. So with Arsenal, I think right now it's fairly easy. You'd look at Raya in goal, White at right back, Calafiori, I would guess, at left back, Saliba and Gabriel in the middle. Then in midfield, Odegaard and Rice are certainties. The question is, who's that third midfielder? I think it'll be a defensive midfielder. I think Jorginho, if he's available, is an option. Fitness is obviously an issue there. It's obviously an issue with Partey as well, who they've seemingly been trying to sell for a couple of years, but obviously no one will buy him because of what's ongoing with him. So I would guess Partey, if fit, is probably he is the better player. Depends how that makes your stomach feel. But yeah, Odegaard, Partey and Rice in midfield. If they get Moreno, I think Moreno plays the 6 for them. And then in attack, it just picks itself, really. I think it's going to be Saka on the right, Havertz through the middle, and Martinelli on the left, which is a very strong team. A very, very strong team. Now, there are rumours that they want to bring in Moreno in midfield. I think if Moreno comes in, it is an upgrade over Jorginho. I don't think he's as good in that position as Partey, but he's got less black clouds hanging over his name than Thomas Partey does, and he makes me feel less queasy. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty good team. I think that's a team that should go into this season under pressure, though, because they spend an awful lot of money. You get Moreno across the line, you will pass the £700 million mark in money spent, and I think it's put up or shut up time for Arteta this coming season. I think he has to deliver one of the two major trophies. Aston Villa then. So going out, Moussa Diaby, Douglas Luiz, Orugbunam, Samson, Sinasola, a few others that are irrelevant, really. Coming in, Onana, Matson, Archer, Philogen, Illing Jr., Dobbin, Balanchea, and Barkley. I think they've done really well. Emi Martinez in goal. Right back, for the moment, I think it will be Ezri Konsa, with Diego Carlos and Pau Torres at centre-back, and then Matson at left-back. Midfield, I would guess, not overly confident in this, but I would guess it's Leon Bailey on the right, Ramsey on the left, Kamara once fit in the middle next to Onana, with McGinn slightly ahead of them, and then Ollie Watkins up front. I would guess McGinn plays that more central role, and they use Bailey and Ramsey wide. Kamara and Onana is going to be an absolute monster to play against in the middle of the park. That's a perfect fit once Onana is back, or once Kamara is back. Until he's back, they have Baranchia, who can play there at a very good level, and they could play Ross Barkley with Onana, though the fit's not quite as good. Bournemouth, they've made the Sinistera deal permanent. They've signed Unal. They've signed Dean Huijsen, really good get. Really, really good get. And Alex Paulson. Out the door, Lloyd Kelly, Jamal Rowe, and Kiefer Moore, who they got money for. They also signed Daniel Jebison. So they actually got Daniel Jebison and $1.5 million for Kiefer Moore. They got the better player and money out of those two deals, which is good business. Right now, I guess Neto starts in goal. Aaron's right back, Kirke's left back, Zabarni and Huijsen a centre back. I think that's pretty good. In midfield, Adams will be there. I think he'll play the holding role. I think Alex Scott is the 10. Solanke's the 9. Sinistera on the left. Semenyo on the right. Which means they need that one more in midfield. Now, they've got a couple of different options here as well. Like, you could go with Philip Billing for a bit of size, a bit of aerial ability. Good passer of the ball as well, obviously. Trying to think who else would be a good starter in that role. I'd love to see Scott play in that role with Traore as the 10. But I'm going to guess it's Ryan Christie. I'm going to guess he plays there. Brentford, only Igor Thiago in the door. Now, that deal was done in January, February, so they haven't actually done anything as such. So based on the current squad, we're looking at, I think, largely the same as what they had last year. Now, let's see. Flecken in goal. Hickey right back. Henry left back. Centre backs. Would he play a back four? I'm going to guess Ayer, Collins, and me actually as a back three. So that puts Hickey and Henry as wing backs. Norgard, Jensen, and Janelt in midfield. Mbomo and Tony up front. I think it's going to be the same team. Thiago's out now for months as well. So I'm going to guess it's the same team as was largely the case last year, but obviously with their players back. Yeah, no real change there. On to Brighton. Now they've brought in Herzlier, who likes to play a back three. So I think Verbruggen will establish himself as the goalkeeper. 3 centre-backs, I would guess Veltman, Dunk, and Julio. Wouldn't be surprised, then Estupinan as the left wing back. Wouldn't be surprised if Solly March plays right wing back. Because he does like very attacking wing backs. So Solly March can play anywhere. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets some run there. In the middle of the park, I think it'll be Baliba and Wiefer. And I'm going to guess Matoma, and maybe Minta behind João Pedro. Yeah, Matoma and Minta behind João Pedro. Chelsea. Goalkeeper is anybody's guess. So they're obviously bringing in Philip Jorgensen. Now it looks like they're bringing in the goalkeeper from Genk. What is the Genk goalkeeper's name? Mike Penders. But I would guess Jorgensen comes in as the starter, which means that going into the season, as things stand, they've got Robert Sanchez, Dorde Petrovic, who was very good for them last year, Kepa, Jorgensen, Slanina, and Penders, as well as Bettinelli and Eddie Beach, all under contract. Fair play to them. But I'm going to guess Jorgensen is the starter. Reece James will start at right back. Left back, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Levi Colwill. Centre back, I think he might start Fofana with Badiashile. Now, it could well be Fofana with Colwill, and maybe he plays Chilwell at left back, or maybe he plays Cucurella at left back. Cucurella might suit what he wants to do a bit more. Do you know what? I'll say Fofana, Colwill, and Cucurella plus Reece James as the back four. Midfield, I think it'll be Enzo and Caicedo. I'm just not sure who the third one will be. I think there's a possibility that he uses Cole Palmer in that kind of 10 position, which would put Mudeki on the left, or Mudeki on the right and Nkunku on the left. But I'm not really sure. They're a hard team to judge right now. They've got so many players. Does look like Conor Gallagher could be leaving though, so that's at least one out of the mix. They've just got so many players. It's so hard to know what they're going to do. Dewsbury Hall is obviously a possibility to start in midfield. He knows the system like the back of his hand, having excelled in it for Leicester, but is he good enough to be starting for Chelsea? That's where I'm not sure. That would put Palmer back on the right. I still think Nkunku will play on the left. Let's go with that. Let's go with Dewsbury Hall as the third midfielder. I don't like that midfield, but I think that could well be the situation. Crystal Palace. Oh, I should have named the players the clubs assigned, shouldn't I? Brighton. Minta, Wiefer, Osman, Yalkoi, and Kozier Dewsbury. Chelsea, Dewsbury Hall, Jorgensen, Kellyman, Viega, Wiley, Gui, and Darabayo. And up front for Chelsea, I just assume it'll be Nicholas Jackson until something changes. Palace have brought in Chadi Riyad and Daichi Kamada. Going out the door so far, it's only Michael Olise. Dean Henderson in goal. Guehi, Anderson, and Riyad as the back three. Munoz and Mitchell as the wing backs. Decore and Wharton as the midfield pairing. Kamada and Eze behind Mateta. I think right now that's how they'll line up. Everton have signed Jake O'Brien, Iliman and Jai, Tim Orugbunam, and brought in Jesper Lindstrom on loan. They still have holes to fill, but this isn't a bad start. I do have a question about who plays at centre-back. Obviously, Pickford will be the goalkeeper. That's obvious. But I think it'll be Patterson right back, Michaelenko left back. I do wonder, though, with O'Brien coming in, what the centre-back pairing is. Is it O'Brien and Tarkowski? But what about Branthwaite? Is it Branthwaite and O'Brien? But what about Tarkowski? Branthwaite and O'Brien will be a nod to the future, so maybe it is that. We'll have to see. But I'm going to say he sticks with Tarkowski and Branthwaite to begin the season. In midfield, James Garner, I think, will start. Doucouré will start. They'll definitely have Dwight McNeil out wide. Maybe Doucouré doesn't start. McNeil will definitely play. I think Harrison will play. So it wouldn't surprise me if Lindstrom played behind the striker. But then what do you do with Iliman and Jai? I mean, he could try Harrison as a left back. I just don't see him doing it. I think one of the new signings is in attack is going to miss out. They bought Njai, so maybe he starts then as the 10. And Lindstrom misses out. It becomes an option off the bench. Calvert-Lewin up front, Njai behind, Harrison one side, McNeil the other, Garner +1 in midfield. Idrissa Gana Gueye still seems like the obvious one to start. Even with Eric Bunham coming in, I'm going to say Idrissa Gana Gueye starts. That's a tough one. Fulham. So Smith Rowe would be their first signing. They have obviously lost João Palhinha. They did sign Ryan Sessegnon as well, which is a deal I do like. They lost Tosin. They do anything else? Oh, they lost Bobby D. Cordova-Reid as well. Right. Leno will be the goalkeeper. Castagnier at right back. Robinson at left back. Bassi will be a centre-back. The other centre-back, for now, I would guess Issa Diop. Midfield, I'm going to say Sasa Lukic starts alongside Iwobi, and maybe just Andreas Pereira. Maybe they get a bit more attack-minded. Rodrigo Muniz will be the striker. I would guess Smith Rowe plays one flank. And maybe Harry Wilson on the other. It's not great, is it? It's not great. Ipswich. Right, Ipswich. They have brought in Omari Hutchinson, Jacob Greaves, Liam Delap, and Muric. That's a decent start for them. I would guess Muric starts in goal. I think Leif Davies will start at left back, Ben Johnson at right back. The back three, Wolfenden, Edmondson. Yeah, Wolfenden, Edmondson, and Greaves as a back three, maybe. Two in midfield. I think Sam Morsey will be one. I'm not sure who the other one would be. I mean, Jack Taylor. I'm going to say Jack Taylor. And then Delap and Hutchinson as sort of the two interior attackers. With Connor Chaplin up front or Nathan Broadhead? I do like Broadhead, but I don't know if he has the physical presence that they'll want. I'll go Connor Chaplin to start as the 9 for now. He's more an attacking midfielder, isn't he? Maybe him and Hutchinson behind the lap is actually what they go with. Yeah, that's what I'll go with. Chaplin and Hutchinson behind the striker, who should be the lap. How many is that then? That's 10. So I'll go to break, come back and do the other 10. See you in a sec. Right, welcome back. So, next up is Leicester City, managed by Steve Cooper. And the issue here is that Cooper likes to change his formation quite a bit, but I'm going to go with a 4-2-3-1 because he did use a 4-2-3-1 a fair bit at Forest and at Swansea. So Mads Hermansen is the goalkeeper. I'm going to say he gives Christiansen a go at left back. And I think he might go James Justin at right back, which puts us with Wout Faes, and I think Caleb Okoli will be the centre-back pair. Now, it could be Vestergaard and Okoli, but I'm going to go with Faes and Okoli. Neither is great. Neither Faes nor Vestergaard is a great option. In midfield, it'll be Harry Winks, it'll be Wilfin Ndidi, and I think it might be Casey McAteer as the third starter. Fatua on the right, Mavididi on the left, and I would guess they go with Jamie Vardy as the starting 9, even at age 37. That's what I'm guessing. Liverpool, they haven't signed any person that's left. Matip, Thiago, Adrian. Nobody expected anything to be at the club this year. They will sign players, but for now we'll go with what they have. Alisson in goal. Trent right back. Given what the manager wants, Trent right back, Kanate and Virgil, and Gomez at left back. Endo and McAllister in midfield. Salah right, Szoboszlai 10, Diaz left, and Nunez up front. At a guess, I think that's what they go with. Manchester United. So they have signed... Manchester City, rather. They have signed Savinho. That's the only business they've done. Everybody knew that one was happening months ago. It's basically just an academy promotion, really. But we have to pretend like it's not. We have to pretend like those other clubs are not only owned to allow City to have all these extra players. Ederson in goal. Walker remains the right back for reasons I don't quite understand. I think Diaz and Aki are the centre-backs and Gvardiol is the left back. Midfield, Rodri, Bernardo, and KDB. I think Doku and Foden start on the wings and Haaland through the middle. That will be my guess. I don't think Savinho comes in and starts, and I don't think they start Alvarez. So I think that's what we see. Doku one side, Foden the other side. They'll switch during games and have plenty of freedom to do so. Foden probably starts off the right, though. Manchester United. Right, so they have signed Lenny Yoro, who's injured already, and Joshua Zirkzee. They've sold Greenwood, Kumbuala, Carreras, and Van de Beek. Onana will start in goal. The defence would be Delo, Yoro, Martinez, and Shaw, which you'd have to have a big questions over. The midfield at the moment, I would guess Casemiro and Menu with Bruno as the 10. Garnacho right, Rashford left, and Højlund up front. I think that's at the moment what they're probably going to lean to. The Toon. Lewis Hall made that one permanent. Signed Lloyd Kelly on a free. Signed that Greek goalkeeper. Sold Elliot Anderson. Sold Minta. Don't like the sales. Like the money they got, but don't like them for their future. Pope will start in goal. I think Livramento becomes the starting right back. I think Hall becomes the starting left back. So I'm going to go say those two. Now, Botman is out injured for a while, but I think he will come back, and so it'll be Schär and Botman. Midfield, Tonali, Gemerish, and Jolington. And in the front three, as things currently stand, will be Almiron, Isak, and Gordon. I think that's fairly straightforward. The fullbacks, wouldn't surprise me if Trippier and Burns start the season, but I think by the end of the season, the two youngsters will have taken over. On now to Nottingham Forest. So they've signed goalkeepers in each of the last three transfer windows, which is funny. I think Matt Sells will start the season as number one, but it wouldn't surprise me if Carlos Miguel takes over. But I'll say Sells. In defence, I think you're probably looking at Ola Aina left back, Nico Williams right back, Omaba Madeli and Murillo in the middle. In midfield, I'm hopeful Sangaré gets his opportunity next to Danilo. I think that duo would set them up really well. Then I think they could go Hudson-Odoi right, Gibbs White 10, and Elliot Anderson potentially left wing. And then Awoniyi up front. That does leave Elanga out though, and he was really good last year. Maybe Elanga keeps the spot to begin with, and we see what happens with Anderson. Southampton. So they've been busy. Such as that Forest signed Anderson. They signed Milinkovic. Omaba Madeli starts right back. Milinkovic starts in the middle next to Murillo. They signed Stamanik, Miguel, and Eric Da Silva Moreira as well. Southampton. Howard Bellis in, Downs in, Ben Brayton Diaz. Did I say that last week? I thought I said that last week. Sugawara, Ronnie Edwards, and Nathan Wood all in the door. So, at a guess, to begin the season, I think it'll be McCarthy. Like I said last week, I would look to bring someone in because Basuna is out injured. When he comes back, he becomes first choice. Right back should be Walker-Peters. Manning should be left back. I'm going to guess they start with Howard Bellis and Bednarak as the centre-back pairing. In midfield, maybe Downs, Smallbone and Alcaraz as a three. In attack, I think Brayton Diaz will start. I think Armstrong might start, but in a slightly wider role. Try and use his pace to burst in behind, simplify the role for him. Sekou Mara as the other starter, maybe? Maybe. Yeah, maybe Sekou Mara. Tottenham. Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall in the door. Don't think either of them start. Vicario will be the goalkeeper. The defence is fairly set. Pedro Porro, Christian Romero, Mickey van de Ven, and Destiny Adoiji. I think it's Basuma and Matar Sarr in midfield. Madison as the 10. I think Son starts as the 9. So I think it's Brennan Johnson and maybe Timo Werner as the wingers. I don't really like that. Maybe Johnson and Kulusevski, but a lot of Spurs fans are not loving Kulusevski as a winger. I think Brennan Johnson will start. Maybe Richarlison starts and Son just starts on the wing, but there has been rumours of Richarlison leaving, so we'll wait and see what happens with that. West Ham United signed Max Kilman, signed Luis Guilherme, signed Wes Fotheringham, sold Downs, Benrahma, Keeler and Trott, and I think Areola starts in goal. Soufal for now is the right back. Palmieri is the left back. My guess would be Zuma and Kilman as the centre backs, though I do think Mavropanos and Kilman is a better pairing. In midfield, Alvarez and Souček. Ward-Prowse is the 10, because I think Paqueta is going to be banned. Kudus one side, Bowen the other, and I think Antonio is currently the starting number 9. Now you could, if Paqueta doesn't get banned, you could play Paqueta one side, Kudus the other, and Bowen as the 9, which obviously improves things quite a bit. And I still think they've got business, so I just don't think Luis Guilherme is ready to start in the Premier League. Wolves then. So they have signed Rodrigo Gomes, Pedro Lima, Tommy Doyle, and Jorgen Strand Larsen. Jose Sa in goal. Centre backs is going to be a bit of an issue because they've obviously just sold one of their centre backs. But I would guess Santiago Bueno, Toti Gomes. I would love it to be Yersin Mosquera, I think has a lot of talent. But I'm going to guess they go with Craig Dawson, unless they bring someone in. Wing backs, I would guess Nelson Semedo starts. Though it does seem weird that they spent significant money on Rodrigo Gomes if he's not going to start. And he's an ideal wing back. Like, he's perfectly set up to be a wing back. Aït-Nouri on the other side. Midfield, Lamina and Joe Gomes should pick themselves. Strand Larsen as the 9 with Cunha and Neto either side, and that puts Wang in a rotation role. That's my guess. Right, that's going to do that. I'll be back after the break to get the news, the gossip, and wrap us up. See you in a sec. Right, welcome back. So, we've got 2 days of gossip to do. Let's get into it. I'm not going to go through any other news, just we'll do the gossip and be done. Arsenal remain interested in Victor Osimhen, 0 chance. The Gunners could strengthen their midfield with the signing of Mikel Moreno. I do think that one's got a real chance of happening. Napoli would be interested in Romelu Lukaku as part of a part exchange for Osimhen. Again, I just don't think Chelsea have that kind of money to play with this summer. They have the money, they just don't have the flexibility to do it. Tottenham want to sign Federico Chiesa. I have doubts about that one. Atletico Madrid are confident of signing Conor Gallagher. That one does make sense, to be fair, and I could see that happening. Jake O'Brien has arrived. That one's done. Jake O'Brien has signed for Leicester. Everton could make an offer for Habib Diarra. That would be a really good signing. He's very, very good. 20-year-old Senegalese midfielder. He's the 3rd best young Senegalese midfielder, but he's very, very good. Crystal Palace and Ghana forward Jordan Ayew is wanted by Leicester City. I'm not sure why. Several clubs from the Premier League and abroad are keen to sign Tahith Chong from Luton. Had a good year last year, to be fair. West Ham are likely to have their approach for Youssouf Fofana fall short, with the 25-year-old preferring AC Milan. David De Gea will not join Genoa because he's asking for too much money. West Ham view Nicholas Füllkrug as a potential target as they search for a new striker. I could see that one making sense. Could see him being available. So yeah, they just signed Guirassy. They have Haller. Do they still have Haller? Maybe they don't have Haller. I think they do still have Haller, don't they? But yeah, I could see Füllkrug being available. Arsenal are interested in Leroy Sané. Nonsense. That's just his agent trying to get him a new deal. Steve Bruce is in talks to become the new Jamaican manager. Now, I had Steve Bruce in this podcast a few months back. He's a lovely guy. Him managing Jamaica will be one of the funniest developments in the history of the game. Brighton have agreed a £5.9 million deal to allow Pascal Gross to go to Borussia Dortmund. It's a great get for Dortmund at that price. It was obvious he was going to leave Brighton at this summer. Chelsea are in talks over Lukaku and Osimhen. Lukaku has already agreed to take a pay cut. It's Ben Jacobs. It could be... Well, he's definitely going to take a pay cut because no Italian club will pay him what Chelsea offered him all those years ago. Chelsea and Aston Villa have submitted offers for Max Bayer. Be a great get for Villa. He really would. Monza's move for Keylor Navas could collapse over differences between the parties during negotiations. I don't really know what that means. Manchester United are close to signing Chidozie Obi-Martin. Chelsea have agreed a £17 million deal to sign Belgian goalkeeper Mike Penders. Yet another young goalkeeper going there to never ever play for them. You'd wonder what Slonina thinks, given they're about to spend $40 million on goalkeepers this summer, spent the better part of 40 last summer, and he's just sent out on loan while being more talented than all of them. West Ham are on the verge of pulling out of the race to sign Crescencio Somerville, and that's been contradicted by later reports today, so I don't think it's true. Hannibal Mejbri is close to joining Rangers. Yeah, I could see that. Aston Villa are interested in Jean-Philippe Mateta. He's not going to go there and be a backup, so it's not going to happen. Everton are considering a bid for Tammy Abraham. I doubt it. Manchester United are working on an agreement for Adrian Rabiot. I could see that one. I could see them being silly enough to give him a big contract. Reece Williams and Billy Koumetio are set to leave Liverpool. Everybody knows that. Liverpool are planning on signing a defensive midfielder before the end of August. That's something everybody knows. Sporting Lisbon have reduced Coventry's sell-on clause from 15% to 10% for any deal involving Victor Gyökeres. Fulham are trying to secure a deal for Andre. And Manchester United are expected to sign a replacement if they sell Scott McTominay to Fulham. That's it, folks. That's it from me. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Sports Social Podcast Network.